What's good, everybody? This is Boxingwave. Just trying to chop down these last few breakdowns before the big fight on Saturday. Okay, again, I will be here Saturday. Please subscribe if you are new. Hit the bell notification. Saturday morning, we will be here covering a fight, the entire card live. We will watch every single fight, and there will be a breakdown for every fight on this card. I already completed 4 of them, or I think this is my 4th one. Better be a Bivol rematch is already done, so check that out. Ortiz and Madrimov is already done. I did also Padley and Shakur Stevenson. I did a quick prediction video on that. And I did another one. Joseph Parker and Daniel Dubois is completed as well. Okay, so I have this one here between Zhang and Kabayel. And I also have a couple more to do. Shiraz and Adamas and Calvin Smith and Joshua Buatsi needs to be done. All right. So anyway, just make sure, check all those breakdowns down. A lot of these fights are really, really close. So, if you're a betting man or if you are, I'm expecting to be a draw in there somewhere. I'm expecting a couple upsets. It's a very good quality card. I think outside of the Padley fight with Shakur, Padley being a replacement fighter, I think every fight is pretty difficult to pick for the most part. Okay, including this one here. All right. Now, Zhilei Zhang, surprisingly, is not the favorite to win. No, he's the most known. He's a more known fighter, but he's not the favorite to win. Agit Kabayel has a great amount of momentum going into this fight because he's coming off some big wins in fights that he was the underdog and at a big stage as well. Because I think both of his wins, his recent wins against Frank Sanchez and Makhmudov, were on a big stage. They were on the Riyadh season cards. Okay. So before those fights, there wasn't really much buzz about him, but there's a lot more buzz about him right now. He's a 32 years old, undefeated fighter, 25 wins with 17 knockouts, no losses, no draws. Okay. And he's coming off of 2 of his biggest wins in his career. And he's going to face the veteran Zhilei Zhang, 41 years old now, 27 wins with 22 knockouts. And those 2 tough losses he has against Filip Hrgovic and Joseph Parker. And that one draw in that horrible, horrible moment when he was facing against Jerry Forrest, where he dropped Forrest a few times early in the fight, but gassed out terribly. All right. And very dangerous situation because he clearly needed medical attention. He looked like he was having a heart attack in the ring. And it was a scary moment because it looked like he was going to collapse at any point. All right. But well-decorated amateur, Olympic silver medalist, and just a guy that he's older, but he started pro very, very late, So, this is one of the fights that I'm definitely paying attention to what people are saying. I do think this is a 50-50 fight. And I'm looking and I'm seeing what people are saying, and I feel like a lot of people got Kabayel winning. I think a lot of people are counting out Zhilei Zhang because they know that, and it's proven, this is a fact. This is not even me, you can check his resume if you want. He is not really a 12-round fighter. I don't even think he's really a 10-round fighter. He doesn't really. I think he has like one fight that he didn't lose, that he went 10 rounds in. Everything else is a pre 5 or 6 round or less knockout win for him. So I think people are counting him out because Agit Kabayel he's recently looked like a pressure fighter. He's recently looked like he has a phenomenal gas tank based on the 2 fighters he just fought. But you got to understand that Zhilei Zhang doesn't fight anything like those last 2 fighters. And we're talking Frank Sanchez and Makhmudov. Zhang is a much bigger fighter, a better, more experienced fighter. Quick hands, like I said, slow feet, but quick hands. Very good counterpuncher and a lot of power. And you got to also understand that Agit Kabayel is more of a mid-range, close-range fighter. He's not a long-range fighter. Now, he's a very intelligent fighter because The first fight I seen him in was against Derek Chisora. I never heard of him before that fight. And that fight was roughly 7, 8 years ago. It was a long fight. And I took a peek at it the other day because I just wanted to confirm that I remembered Kabayel being a mover, using a ring type of guy, not this pressure fighter that he's been in the last few fights. And yes, against Derek Chisora, he fought on a back foot for the majority of the fight. He was just working the counter, and Derek's just going to come at you. But Kabayel used the ring, a lot of lateral movement in that fight, a lot of pot shotting in that fight, So he took a different approach in that fight. And you saw a little bit of that in the first 2 rounds against Makhmudov, who was the bigger giant coming forward, throwing nothing but power shots. You know what I mean? So I'm expecting him to fight that kind of fight against Zhilei Zhang. But Kabayel is more of a mid-range. He needs to get in range in order to land. He goes to the body well. He's a good combination puncher. He's not a long-range fighter. And the guys that I've seen have a lot of success against him, which is Joseph Parker and Filip Hrgovic, those guys are long-rangey fighters. You know what I mean? They didn't have to get so close. Those guys work behind a jab. They would step in at times, especially Parker. He would step in at different times and throw combinations. But Agit Kabayel, I think, specializes in that more. He's not a rangy guy. You know what I mean? So he doesn't have the long reach or anything like that. And Zhilei Zhang is more of, he can fight for long range, he can mid-range, close range, he can do it all. So you got to understand that Agit Kabayel in this fight has to be very, very careful, because not enough people bring up his fight with Agron Smakishi. Sorry if I'm butchering his name. This was the fight right before the Makhmudov fight. And the reason why I looked at this fight is because it was against the Southpaw. And I think this is part of the reason why I did lean towards Makhmudov in that fight, because, I wasn't really impressed with Kabayel's performance. I know he got the stoppage in the 3rd round, but he almost got stopped in the 2nd round, right? He got knocked down. It was a standing 8 count because he was held up against the ropes. He almost went down. But, with that pressure, he gets hit a lot. And he's been durable up to this point. But Zhilei Zhang is a much more bigger puncher than both of those 2 guys or those few guys he's recently fought. So you guys got to understand, going into this fight, Zhilei Zhang is a 5-round, 6-round fighter. And that's cool. We all know that. But you also got to understand, too, that he's very dangerous in these first few rounds or so. And even though I expect Kabayel to fight cautiously and use the ring like we've seen him do in the past, I don't think he's the type that just stand there and engage in a fencing battle like the way Joseph Parker did. Parker has very, very quick hands and much, much more experience. So he was able to match Zhilei Zhang in that fencing battle throughout the rounds and outwork him, but in a different way. Kabayel he's volume, but with brute force kind of thing. He's more aggressive, which also makes him more leaky with the defense. So it's a very, very, very hard fight to call. Overall, I think it's 2 ways this is go. I mean, I think it could go other ways, but I'm thinking more like Zhilei Zhang stopping him within 5 or 6 rounds, or Agit Kabayel beating him on points, working things out, pot shotting early, using the ring, and then once Zhilei Zhang starts to gas out a little bit, the older man starts to slow down a little bit, come and start really throwing combinations, taking a little bit more risk. Also, you cannot sleep on Zhang in the eighth, in the later round, because in the eighth round, he was able to drop Joseph Parker with a tempo shot. And again, we call him a 5-6 round fighter, but you can never sleep on a guy that's that size, and that's been that durable. Gassing is definitely the key to beating Zhilei Zhang, making him gas out. But durability is there. He's always been durable. His size is there. Again, speed, the power, and the counter punching. Zhilei Zhang is a southpaw with a dominant left hand. One of the hardest punches of all of the heavyweights. I think he has one of the hardest punches out there. And also he has a great right hook. You got to watch out for that. And if you're on the inside, he has a good short left hand. He's dangerous in all areas. And Agit has to be very, very careful in this fight. Zhilei Zhang, I didn't bring too much up on his opponents. Again, he just recently beat Deontay Wilder. Wilder, I thought he looked better against Zhang than he did against Joseph Parker. Parker fight, I don't know what the hell he was doing. Wilder just got clipped. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Both of them big punchers, but Zhilei Zhang was always technically better than Deontay Wilder, and it worked out for him in that fight. Who else did he beat recently? He lost to Joseph Parker, but was able to drop him twice. The Hrgovic fight was, a lot of people think Hrgovic lost the fight. I actually don't. I think Hrgovic won, even though he got hurt a couple times in that fight. Hrgovic was just much more consistent, especially in the later rounds. So I like Agit Kabayel to win on points, hedge with Zhilei Zhang to win by within 6 round stoppage. If Agit could fight smart and just invest on the body of Zhilei Zhang, he wins on points. But he has to be very careful. He doesn't have the hand speed of some of the opponents that Zhang has already faced. And he's not quicker than Zhilei Zhang as far as hand speed. Use the ring, pick your spots, pot shot a little bit, work on the body, but don't sit in the pocket for too long. Keep your back off the corner, ask Deontay Wilder. Stay away from the ropes, because even though Zhilei Zhang is more of a pot shotter, or he just throws one or two punches at a time, if your back is in against the ropes or in the corner, he will open up a lot more and throw more combinations. Okay, and that's where you don't want to be. Kabayel has to be cautious, and I think Kabayel wins on points if he's able to be active, be smart, use the ring, and just work the body early. If he goes in there and tries to fight recklessly, or as aggressive as he's had in his most recent fights, he gets knocked out. He's going to get knocked out. All right. I'm leaning a little bit towards Kabayel. My actual prediction is Kabayel on points. Okay. But if I'm going to put money on this today or before the fight, I will probably put 2 bets just to be safe. Zhang winning within 6 somewhere by knockout is very, very possible. That's the other option. Not sleeping on him. But Kabayel is my dominant pick to win this fight. That's my prediction. Dominant Kabayel is going to be smart. He's going to win and be more active. And I think he's going to win on points. All right. By the way, there's a third option here. And a fourth. But I think the third option is more possible. If Zhilei Zhang, who's going to be coming forward, by the way. All right, remember that. He's going to be coming forward here. If Zhilei Zhang is able to clip Kabayel and buzz him a few times, winning rounds, taking rounds because he's landing the more effective shots, there's also a chance he may win on points without having to stop Kabayel. Kabayel needs to get into a rhythm. And if he's getting buzzed by Zhang and he's going to have to fight a safe fight, there is a chance where he may not win on points, especially if he's knocked down multiple times. You get what I'm saying? Also, if Kabayel can really, really like do some great work to the body and get the Zhangs to slow down, there's a possibility he might stop him as well. You know, I think his aggressive approach will really work in the second half of the fight. I'm not counting on that. I think that's the most likely of all options. But Kabayel on points is my official prediction. All right. All right, guys. I'll see you guys on the next breakdown real soon. Please subscribe, hit the thumbs up if you like the content. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.